So what I want to talk to Dana about is how to break free from the midlife journey or the crisis or the awakening. Because as we get more mature, Dana,
Yes.
I'm around so many women that as they mature, they get worse. We think that as we get older, we get wiser. No, some people just getting older.
True.
Or I've been in rooms with women who are in their late 40s and 50s, and they are like miserable about this menopause thing. And I'm like, man, your life can be better, but y'all got to do something different. And then when I tell them what to do, Dana, they don't believe me. So I want to bring you up because there are so many people who are just miserable, depressed, stuck, not doing anything, and a lot of them are using their age as a reason. And I'm like, man, y'all can get finer with as wine over here in these streets, but you have to do something different. So I'm bringing fine wine on the line today to be able to share some insight with you. So Dana, when we started working together in January 2022, I think it was, what was going on in your life in January 2022?
I had really hit, a wall, Christy. I remember that Saturday. And I did not look cute at that time, but I was in a place where I was really miserable. And I was looking for something. I wasn't sure what I was looking for. To be honest, I wasn't sure what I was looking for, but I knew that there had to be something different than the life experience that I was living. And I was hopeful, and I was scrolling and came across you on that Saturday. But I was in a place of, I would say, over functioning for sure. And, now on this side of it, I know that I was using over functioning as a way of protection, right? And I became like the strong one, the fixer of all things, right? The one to carry all the load. And that was where I was. And I think I was crumbling underneath the pressure of all of that.
So you were a senior executive at the time with grown children, and you were married, and you were crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know it? Or did you not know it? Or did you know it and you didn't think you could change? Or did you think that you were going to like live the rest of your life like that? Where were you mentally when you were there?
Mentally, I didn't know I was I wouldn't call it necessarily crumbling at the time. I would say that now.
Oh, we all in denial. We don't know how far gone we are.
Right. Until you like
we get out the deep end, you be like, my God, I'm glad I didn't die down there. Go ahead.
It's like unplugged from the Matrix, girl. It's like that's been going on around me, like Jesus. But I wouldn't say like now. I say I was crumbling. Right then, I didn't think I was crumbling. I just knew that I was exhausted. I was chronically exhausted all the time, and sleeping in wasn't fixing it. And yeah, sleeping in wasn't fixing it. I was doing a lot of things, but I don't think that I had the, working out and all that kind of stuff. But I even hit a wall with a lot of those things. And I think sometimes it's the things that we do outside of ourselves. And when they stop working, we just think that they stopped working. But there was another layer, another level that I hadn't gone to that I didn't even know existed until, we started to work together. The other thing I would say is I didn't believe I had permission to fall apart, right? I wasn't ambitious from a sake of just being ambitious, which I am, but I was ambitious from a place of survival. That was how I had learned to survive. I learned that early on that being needed created a safety for me, that being excellent kept me from being overlooked. So I built my entire life around being indispensable. That was my trauma default, over functioning as protection, right? And it showed up in my work because I didn't just deliver, I over delivered. Every time, like past the wall into the next county kind of deliver. Babe Ruth had nothing on me when it came to delivering. And that became a whole safety net for me. In my relationships, whether they were friendships or, romantic, I was the glue, the giver, the go-to, offering support, but rarely ever receiving support, right? I tolerated imbalance in my relationships because part of me believed that in giving more made me more lovable. And that was a downright bold-faced lie. It made me exhausted. That's what it did. It made me exhausted.
Let's hold on. Let's unpack that before you.
Okay.
Because you dropped so many gems. One, you were crumbling and didn't know, which is common for high achieving women, executive women, and executives, as you now know, because men are going through it too. We have no idea. And then you created a life experience around being needed.
Yeah.
And you were dependable.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how we show up. And so you become indispensable. So you're serving to your demise.
Absolutely.
And people gonna let you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And people will let you and allow you and don't care because you have trained them to need you. Absolutely. And then you feel guilty when you be like, well, I probably can't give as much because my basket is getting empty. And they be like, well, we'll wait for you to fill it up. They're not going to be like, let me give to you, Dana. And I see your basket is getting empty. Let me give you some of the breadcrumbs that I got. They be like, nah, we'll wait.
We'll wait.
Now, with eight baskets full of our stuff that we've given over the past 10 years. They be like this, we'll wait for you to figure out how to go get some more for us so we can thrive.
Yeah. And here's the crazy part, right? From a self-worth perspective, Christy, I felt worthy when I produced, right? Stillness made me uneasy. Lord forbid I sit still for a second, right? I didn't know how to rest because I felt guilty when I did. Now I'm like, ooh, rest? Yes, please. Twice. I'll take a double order.
Yeah. So what when you say your trauma default was, what was your trauma default? Overfunctioning. Give it to me again.
Overfunctioning.
Where did that stem from? What did you connect that to from back in the day?
I connected that to a conversation with my father. A conversation with my father where it was just before I gave birth to my daughter. And he said to me in that moment that I would never amount to anything except being another dumb woman on welfare.
Wait, how old were you when you had your daughter?
I was 18.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't read the notes before we got on the phone because I like to bring up old stuff, but I don't like to bring up all the old stuff.
Uh-huh.
You were the smart one, aren't you? The smart one.
I am.
And you got pregnant at 18, so your family was distraught,
devastated.
Okay, that's what happened. Okay, so it ain't like you just had a kid at 18. Like you were who you are, which is highly successful.
Yes.
Right? Like let's be clear. Dana ain't no scrub. I want to be clear with y'all. Ain't not I don't know how to say it. Ain't not married person's scrub. Her potential even to this day is unmatched and unlimited. So to have your parents, great parents who raised you, and I ain't saying that all parents are perfect, but they raised you to be who you are today.
Yes.
And you messed around and got pregnant at 18.
Yes.
So how dare you?
How dare I? Yeah.
How dare you mess up our plans for your life?
Yes. The good thing. The good plan. Yeah. The good plans. Right. Okay. Yeah. It was like literally dropping a, like the bomb Hiroshima, right? Yeah, because that announcement came out at my graduation dinner. So it's like, okay, I graduated. Surprise. I'm having a baby. So yeah, I did not only devastate, myself, but I devastated everyone connected to me because of that announcement. Yeah.
And so you spent the next 30 years or 40 years, 32 years, really. You spend the next 32 years trying to make up for that.
Yeah.
So you're not really living your life at all.
Not at all.
To unpack that for us, because there are so many women who are just like you and overachieve to the max to, at a certain point, we can't function like that anymore because we're starting to break down, but we can't break down. So we duct tape. I'd be like, hey man, that duct tape, your white strings are showing. Because when the duct tape gets stretched to a certain point, the white strings are showing. So talk to us about how that scenario, because your dad loved you. He was just devastated. Right. Mm-hmm. And you can understand that now from this perspective of being an adult with grown kids. But talk to us about how that conversation materialized, because that's now, how did that trauma default show up at work? How did it show up in your relationships? And how did it show up just in your lifestyle?
Yeah. So it literally was that's where I go back to, well, at that time, right? Everything I went to, like in work, it was, oh, if I can't be regular, I can't be average, I can't do it like everybody else does it. I have to over deliver it just to be good enough, not just for the people at the job, but for my family, because they're still watching me. They're still looking. I'm still trying to repair the damage that I did at 18. And so every big project, every visibility, every opportunity for visibility, every promotion, it wasn't just for me. It was to repair the wound that I created. At least that's where my mind was.
So you were working to please your family, but not working to please Dana.
Correct.
So you were getting degrees to please your family, and you working nonstop. So really your trauma default was your fear of failure. You couldn't fail.
Couldn't. No.
Again.
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 Go ahead. Yeah.
So how does that show up? Like, because how does that show up in the trajectory of your career and some of the decisions that maybe you would have made differently? I mean, you made great decisions, but how would you have lived your life differently? I would say is the question I want. How would you have lived differently over the past 30 years if you would have just learned how to relax and forgive yourself? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I would have shown up probably more like I am right now, right? In the sense that I understand what it means to truly have peace as a barometer. I know that I don't have to work 24/7. I know that I am good enough, right? I don't need someone else to validate me. That is where I'm at this point. I know that the how do I say it? I know that the work that I do, the way in which I do it is unique and has value in the world that we live in. If that makes sense.
So you're not working. You would have been working for validation. You would have been working for joy.
I would have been working for joy. Absolutely. And I think that the one thing that I've learned, on this other side, right, is I was also defining success based upon the definition that was given to me versus a definition that I defined for me. And so what I define for me today looks differently, because I could give two, F's what anybody else thinks about how I define success or peace or joy today. But before, it was I needed the committee to vote and agree with. And now it's like, I don't need that. If I'm blessed to open my eyes, then I've already been blessed and deemed worthy by the person that matters most, the Most High. So everything else after that is gravy.
So you made your life a democracy to be voted on.
I did. Yeah. Everybody had to vote. Everybody had to vote.
Everybody had to vote for the standards in which you live, and you're trying to live up to something that's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting because we work and then we get the position that they say we couldn't get or they didn't expect that we have. But now, instead of living from a place of passion, we're living in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like we think, Dana, if we get this thing, we get this checkbox and we finally get what we fought and bled for. I mean, the long journey. We ran 26 marathons and broke 26 tapes. We don't have an end goal of what joy and wholeness feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And then the career becomes suffocating and is not really them.
Yeah.
Unpack that for me.
So say that one more time, Christy.
When the career becomes suffocating and we blame the career and it's not the career, it's our habits of how we're showing up that we need to unpack. Because I talk to so many senior women or so many women in leadership who are overworking, overextending themselves, and they keep blaming the boss. And I'd be like, ain't your boss, it's you. Like, and I'm not saying that they're not crazy, but they didn't place the suffocating expectations on you. It's not them, it's you. Let's do the work on how you're showing up. And maybe you don't have to quit your job. That's what I want you to unpack is what advice do you have for women who have these super high standards for themselves, or they're blaming their jobs for why they're burning out? What are some of the other factors that may contribute to that?
So there are a lot of factors that may have contributed. So one, things in your childhood, right? Where did that belief first come from? Right. And I think a lot of times we don't do the work necessary to understand where it all started. Because when we're in the work environment, we get triggered. And what triggers are is that they snatch us back in time to where it originally began. And as long as we continue to get triggered until we heal the thing, right? We have to heal and forgive the thing, or the people associated with the thing for that matter as well. We have to do that work in order to remove the same impact from happening to us. I can engage with people now, the same people that used to trigger me in certain situations, and I'm not triggered anymore. I'm not triggered because I had to do the work to understand the root of the thing and be able to uproot that and heal that in order to be able to move forward. So a lot of times it has to do with your family upbringing. It could even be related to certain cultural things within society that we don't really talk about, that have an impact on how we show up in our family situation, in our relationships, but also in the job. And oftentimes we don't advocate for ourselves. We don't speak up. We feel like because the boss said it, it must be so, versus having the right conversations. And, we would rather get together on a Saturday with our friends over the boozy brunch and complain about the situation versus having the conversation to turn it into what we really needed to be. Whether it's the workload, or even the compensation for that matter, closed mouths don't get fed. If you are not willing to have the appropriate conversation with your boss, because they're not sitting around thinking about, is Joan's life great? Is this too much for her? They don't know. If you don't tell them, they have no way of knowing. But if you don't tell them, how are they supposed to know? If you don't go, excuse me, I would love to be a part of this project, this effort, whatever. However, based upon what's on my plate, I have capacity for 3 things, not 5. So what are the 3 things that you would like for me to do and take care of? And we need to delegate these other 2 to someone else. You have to have that conversation for yourself. You have to give yourself permission to have that conversation. That's not failure. It's really you advocating and taking the mantle and owning your future into your own hands.
And I think that's huge, because once you start to draw boundaries, people will respect it. So we can't continue to expect people to respect boundaries that we never set and that we never articulated. We just get mad that people are running all over us, but we train them to do that. Like we train them. So what advice do you have for women with regards to some of the habits that you've engaged in to keep yourself? Oh, hold on. I ain't show you a before picture. What?
Oh God.
Well, I ain't show you a before picture. Hold on. What advice do you have for this lady? Oh, it's petty. Sorry. What advice? She tired. What advice do you have for her?
Oh, so, like, do you know this picture right here kind of haunts me just a little bit, okay? Because imagine, well, you've seen what I look like even before getting here, but Lord, this, that picture.
You got to talk to her before I take it down. What advice? Because I see, here's the thing. This is why I'm asking the question. I talk to people all the time who don't recognize their brokenness. And if truth be told, Dana, most successful women are broken. We just don't know it. We don't know it and we don't acknowledge it, or we know it, but we're embarrassed. Like, I've talked to women who got mad because I called out their brokenness. And I'm like, sis, I'm just trying to save you. Don't be mad at me. Like, I'm just like, I'm gonna take this down because I see you.
I know how you do it with love. I know how you do it with love. Now,
but I'm just saying, it's like they're not willing to admit to their brokenness, and we're crumbling, and whether we know it or not, I think we secretly know it, but we're not doing anything to change because we think that the change is so wide when it's actually just like this. So what are some of the habits that you do, and what advice do you have for your former self?
So some of the habits that I do, so I find for me that journaling in the morning and in the evening are really grounding for me. And journaling about just how my day went, what went well, what didn't go well, but also what did I learn about myself? I think the more I spend time just assessing me and getting more intimate with myself, it has been probably the biggest, that's been the most impactful. Just learning to understand me, because oftentimes we want other people to understand us, but we don't understand ourselves. And so I've learned a lot about myself just through the journaling process. I like getting out in nature. I don't like walking in the rain, but I do like getting out in nature. So taking walks, I found that there's a park really close to my house, and instead of being lazy and driving to the park, I actually walk to the park. I do laps around the park, and then I walk to the grocery store and walk back home with my groceries. That is a habit that really helps me just kind of connect with myself, and I leave my phone at home when I do that particular habit. That just kind of allows me to just be free and disconnect, but also just the boundary aspect and being peace is a real big thing for me. And if it disrupts my peace or if it drains my energy, it's a no. And not a no with a long laundry list of rationale behind it. It's just no. Thanks for inviting me. I'm not able to attend that event. That's it. It's simple. From a point of advice, what I would say is to my former self and to those that are in that space, you don't need another certification to feel qualified. You don't need to prove your worth in rooms that you were born to lead. The biggest flex, the biggest power move that you can have is do it from a place of wholeness and not from a place of hustle. I want you to know that you're not behind. You don't need to carry it all. And you can truly rewrite the rules and still be respected. You just need to start making decisions that honor the woman you're becoming and not just the one who survived. That would be the advice.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. Here's the thing, you don't need to burn out to be brilliant, right? Contrary to what society says, we don't need to burn the candle at both ends and in the middle, right? To be brilliant. We're brilliant just because we are. And we don't have to earn rest or joy or ease or the soft life as is the term nowadays. We can certainly, don't need to prove what God is already qualified. Like, we don't need to do that. In our trauma, that default thing, whether it's fear of failure, over delivering, over performing, or fill in the blank, whatever that trauma is, it may have built our survival strategy for us, and it served us for a point in time, but it's not our destiny. And so if we want something different, we have to be willing to do something different, even if it's scary. Even if it's scary.
That's so good. So how can, what do you have going on in your business, and how can people work with you? Because I want to be clear. Christy Rutherford does not do one-on-one coaching. Don't inbox me. I ain't the one. And so what I do when people want one-on-one coaching, I be like, send them to Dana, because I only trust my fruit. By your fruits, ye shall know them in the name of the Lord. I trust my fruit. I be like this, yeah, sis, I ain't got it, but I got somebody for you though. And I send them straight to Dana. I sent somebody there yesterday. I think like 2 days ago, I just inboxed them. So if y'all are looking for one-on-one coaching, because she's amazing, y'all just like, Dana is the information. Y'all saw her before picture. That's why I do it, Dana. Because if you want to be as fine as she is, you know, it's not about doing more. It's about letting go. It's not about, go ahead.
I said it really is about letting go.
It's not about escaping your life. It's about coming to your life and telling the truth and fixing it. Well, okay, last question. I got 1 minute.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring up Luna. What's one thing that women can do to fix, since your business is called Fix Coaching, can fix where they are right now in their career, or I think in their just general hopelessness?
Ooh, one thing? Only one thing, Christy?
All right, give us three.
Okay. So one, I would recommend that women, get honest with themselves, right? They need to be clear about where they are and where they want to be. So clarity is really important. So getting clear on where you are and where you want to be. And then you need to be honest about what your numbers are. So I'm going to say this, right? So less than 30% of women negotiate their money. And part of that is because of fear of rejection, whatever. But you need to know what your number is. And if you're not able to say that number out loud to yourself from a place of confidence, say it with your chest, and it make you sweat a little bit, the number is too small. So practice your number, do the research, understand what it is you should be making so that you are not lowballing yourself or allowing others to lowball you either in the process. And then lastly, I would say they need to really understand what it is that they bring to the table and speak about it in a way that keeps them in the forefront of the minds of those that they are trying to attract into their life. We're not chasing nothing. We're attracting it to us. But oftentimes we don't even speak about the receipts that we have in a way that even make people pay attention to us. So it's important that they get clear, they understand what their number is, and that they position themselves appropriately so that they can get the money that they rightfully deserve.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. You're amazing. Y'all, I put your webinar link in the chat. And, you know, one, I'm proud of you. Thank you for continuing to get better with time. I have the video where y'all be like, I embarrass y'all because I'd be like, this is what Dana looked like in 2021, 2022. She gets better. And so the thing about doing the work, the thing about creating a lifestyle around self-care, to create a lifestyle around self-preservation, to create a lifestyle around having healthy habits and understanding and having a greater vision for who you are and where you want to be. Life should get better. We should get better even in challenging times as opposed to getting bitterer, right? Like we should get better. And so I'm proud of you for that. And I was in somebody's inbox, they'd be like, you know, I'm watching you. I just want to be clear because I'm expecting for y'all to get better.
And the hard thing with that, Christy, is we need to also, as we do the work to get better over time, part of that work is pruning. And so we have to be willing to let go of not just things, but people and places as well. Our identities and our worth is not wrapped up in those things. And so we need to be willing to do the pruning that's necessary in order for our life to continue to blossom.
Awesome. Thank you, man.